I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Morning, all. Morning. I heard the switch down there, so call the meeting to order and look for a motion to approve the agenda.
Anything else need to go on there?
Nope. I don't think we have room, Dave.
No, that don't look like it, but we could use the back if, I make a motion to approve.
All right, we have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
Oh, a little gravelly this morning.
Pineapple and some...
Any other discussion, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried. Minutes from the 21st.
I'll make that motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second for the minutes, any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carried. Claims.
I got $48,339.30 for general, $2,193 for drainage.
I'll second Dave's motion.
All right, we have a motion and a second for the said numbers on the claims. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. General public concerns. None? Let me sign this quick.
Did you get a call on the dogs of the boat? Yep, thank you.
More than
That's a
one
good
area.
Well, I am on the board with the dispatchers too, so, yeah, I had a good visit with your buddy. I told him I should go.
All right, we have,
He did. Yeah, I had a good visit with him.
couple of hearings this morning.
I know, he's on
One
the...
at
he's on the-
8:55 and one at
he's on the
8:50 and one at 9, so we have some stuff at
No, I
the
didn't know
bottom.
that, and I checked with dispatch, I checked with...
We can
Not too hard.
drop down to,
Alright.
I think it's fine, Dave. Okay.
starting out,
No.
looks like we're gonna rescind, the motion, or the resolution for the ARP money, and Trish, this is just done from Des Moines,
Recommendation
advice.
from
Jamie?
Jamie Cashman to put it all under
Lost?
lost revenue.
Eight.
So then, just rescind the motion, or the resolution
Previous
four that we made,
resolution,
replaced by 6.
okay?
Yeah, we're all down, I shouldn't say we're all down there, but we sat in on that meeting down in Des Moines at ISAC, and pretty much that's what Jamie told us there. So I'll make the motion to rescind resolution 2022-4, resolution for allocating to the personnel funds for the ARP money.
All right, we have a motion and a second to rescind resolution 2022-4. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. Then, and turn right around and approve resolution 2022-6, which is going to put the money back into, the lost revenue fund.
I'll make that motion to approve 2022-6.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt 2022-6, and just so they know, that we'll still be tracking that, right?
It's still going the same places, it's just eliminating a ton of paperwork.
And
Yes.
everything will still be earmarked as according to how it's gonna be used, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Just make it simpler, like Rick said.
All right, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign. Thank God, hopefully that's put
Well, hopefully they don't change the rules.
Just like a lot of things that they do.
Well, they changed the rules 3 times, basically.
At least.
Oh, yeah,
At least.
They kept, well, no more than that, because the
Yeah.
interim, they kept changing the interim about,
don't know, 4 or 5 times, and then...
Wasted about
Is there a sign on the door?
a year of our time.
It's a waste of your time, basically.
and taxpayer dollars.
What you getting from it?
a ton of taxpayer
All
dollars.
right.
Excuse me.
Do you wanna go to Brandy's? We got time to do that?
Do we?
7 minutes, is long enough, Randy?
Oh,
Wow, good.
He's cautiously optimistic today.
He feels very confident.
He does.
Passing this around, this is the proposal we talked about last week of, agreeing to sign contracts with, Midas on the comprehensive plan and the, rewriting of the comprehensive plan and the zoning ordinances. As you can see, I have there listed the two,
Need your signature.
items that are there. Shirley down at Midas is sending me the contracts. I haven't gotten them back yet, so, and then also it says, upon approval, Humboldt County zoning administrator will communicate with Midas to begin the planning and organizing of the contract agreement. And the planning procedures and timelines will be presented to the board of supervisors at a weekly future meeting. So as soon as we get a plan involved, I'll report back to you what we're doing. Okay. The only other couple of things I would say, this is just a proposal for just those contracts, it's not for the estimated cost of the whole thing. So just to remind you that this is
The
just the
beginning.
Midas contract.
Is this the only agreement, contract you need with Midas for this whole,
As far as I know, yeah.
as far as the whole big program that you're working on? This is the only one with Midas?
Right, yeah, that was quoted for those two.
Right, and that's, yeah.
That's as far as I know. The other stuff I gave you the information on, which would include, you know, several things as far as the total estimate.
Right, but there's no more with Midas,
Yeah,
just
and if you remember, I put a listing there, and it was
Yeah,
kind of a
I-
timeline
yeah.
that he had given me as far as what it would,
yes.
what it would take. So, I don't know the details, you know. I am working also with, Stacy Lynch down there. We're starting this week on looking at the map reconstruction. So I'll be meeting with her, and so that'll be good.
I wanna thank you, Randy, for getting this going.
Yeah,
This has
yeah.
been
No problem.
Years.
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 Languishing for
The only
years.
other thing I would say is on the estimation, we talked about the liaison. I don't know if you want to include that into this approval, or you want to do that, as, you know, because it's an unknown factor.
Yeah, let's do that a little later.
Yeah.
We're designating...
That's why I asked if this is all that we had with Midas, the contract was
It's
for.
never been officially said, if I'm gonna do it, or somebody else is making it, just to, you know...
Yeah.
We'll give you some time to think about if you really wanna do it, so then we'll make that approval.
I've already said I would, so...
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
And you're probably right now the most knowledgeable on it, so.
Well, and they said they usually have somebody in my position or somebody close
Mhm.
that, you know, is the liaison. The only other thing too is, I don't have any clue, and I told you this, I don't know where this money's coming from, but I would say, and I know you don't know this word, surplus, but if there were surplus in the zoning, thing, maybe that could be applied to some of this, because it is zoning related.
Right.
So I don't know how that works, I'm just saying.
If we need any money, we usually take it from Ben.
Well, that's fine. I'm just throwing that out, just, you know, I don't think it has to be part of the,
No, I think we need to just approve this, 'cause this is what we have to deal with Midas.
Right.
And let's see, it does say, approve contracts with the Mid-Iowa Development Association, and if a motion is needed, and it probably is, I make the motion to approve the contracts with Mid-Iowa Development Association.
All right.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve a contract with Mid-Iowa Development. I would say the only thing that I'd add to it is, this hasn't been done for a long time, and whatever the fee is, you spread that out over the years that we haven't...
Oh, my gosh.
It's been pretty
Comprehensive
cheap.
plan was in 1995. We're talking a lot of years.
We
And I don't know
got,
if it was recommendation or if it was, I don't remember for sure, but I think it was recommendation of every 5 years.
right.
We're far
Now,
away.
are they gonna, might have been doing the mapping too,
Yep.
correct?
Say that
The
again.
mapping, the zone map?
Yeah, that was a different contract.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
So, yeah.
But we're hopefully gonna have them cleaned up too, so you can
Yeah.
see a little
Well,
bit.
the idea was, you might remember, was we're gonna do just basically what we can now. After this stuff is possibly done, we probably would wanna then relook at how more detailed do we want our zoning maps? And what
Okay.
kind of
Okay.
technology types of things would be capable?
All right.
All right.
Appreciate that, I'm sure.
Sounds good.
Yes. All right.
On a beacon flare.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you get a meeting set up for the board of adjustment on the one out here?
I'm sending out that, today, I'm gonna do a site visit this morning, and then I'm sending that stuff out, to be on the 7th.
Did you check with the DNR on that?
I haven't yet, but I will be. I'll have everything sent out to all the Board of Adjustment members beforehand.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, what you said meeting, I thought maybe, there was one other thing that I should probably mention to you. I met with the board, the county attorney. We had a discussion on House File 2512. I haven't heard back from him. I wrote something out from our discussion. I sent it to him. He's gonna get it back to me. And then I'll send you that information out on an email,
Okay.
okay? This is as far as interpretation and what we're looking at there.
Mhm.
Perfect.
Thanks, Randy.
Yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, we have a motion and a second for that approval. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. Do you need a copy of that signed, or?
Randy, one
You have
quick
to sign
thing,
it.
officially,
Mike?
any luck with my list I gave you?
Get it off. Unless you want to pass another one of these back around.
Okay.
I haven't,
I just wanted to give you something to look
yeah,
at.
no, I've been really busy, and
I know.
I started doing some,
I'm just saying for the...
I haven't made any phone
Get your
calls.
full contingent.
I'm in the process.
Good work, thank you, Randy.
I'll make copies for everybody then, right?
Well, he's leaving, so I guess,
Well, this is for ARP.
That's the ARP one.
all right. I thought that was from him.
No.
All right, sorry. Okay, we got the zoning done, contract with Mid-Iowa. 2080 agreement with Pocahontas County for the sanitation services, which we entered last year. Is that in here?
Copy in there.
All over it.
Okay.
Did she get a hold of you, Trish? Did she get a hold of you?
Oh, no. I, asked for, names of her board persons and contacts and stuff like that too, and she did not answer me. But, she says, in order for us to have more detail on
Our billing?
the billing, it'll cost more.
What?
That would make sense.
We're more or less paying half the wages.
Yeah.
I think we better go out on our own. They can't supply anything.
Well, I think, I agree with you, Dave, but for now, it's a
Yeah,
I think it was a 60-day notice
Yeah.
to get out.
Did they put that, I thought last year they weren't gonna do a notice. Did they change that this year?
Yeah.
I suggest that at this point in time, as close to the fiscal year, does this run off calendar or fiscal year?
Well,
But I'm gonna say fiscal, probably 1st of July or end of June.
Yeah.
yeah, June.
Expires, yeah, expires
The new
June
fiscal
30th
year.
of 2023.
What's that, Dave?
Number 9.
Nine, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
It doesn't say we can, I don't see where it says we can cancel for the 60-day notice.
We had that in the last one.
No, we didn't have it, they didn't do it with the last one.
Oh, they won't do that?
No, they
60
wouldn't do it the 60 days, because they
Oh.
wanted us to guarantee a year at a
They
time.
wanted a
because
year
they-
guarantee, that's what I
don't see it in
remember
here
too.
that we
Well,
can
that probably
cancel.
isn't, that probably isn't. I thought it was
We
in the
don't
last.
approve it, we don't.
Right.
well, yeah, this agreement goes till June 30th, 2023, so it is fiscal
Correct.
year. So, I suggest, I'll just throw this out there, that we move ahead with this, but in the upcoming fiscal year, we take a really hard look at, alternative options for the sanitarium.
I wholeheartedly agree with Eric.
We had this, brief synopsis, thought process discussion a year ago about doing that, nothing's happened in this past year. Let's make a concerted effort to make it happen in the next year. But at this point,
Dave gets a report when they have their meeting.
They do.
They give him a report as to what this
Yep.
person is doing in Humboldt County.
Yep.
But all Trish asked was, could we get some type of, on our billing?
I
More of
know.
an item.
So that we know what we're paying for, an itemized bill like
Yep.
Rick said.
And I will keep after that. I mean, there's no reason not to.
On his report, he don't put time down mileage, time, or anything, it just says, I've done how many well tests. in
Yeah, lumps them
Humboldt
together.
County, And so many in Pocahontas County, he don't spread it out.
Do you suppose from the Board of Health, who actually is the oversight board, could request more, explanation or clarification from him when he gives that report to the Board of Health? 'Cause
Well, it says in 6, billing shall have itemized hours spent, mileage and other associated costs.
But
Yeah,
it isn't.
but we're not
We
getting that.
don't.
But I suggest the Board of Health make that recommendation, say, hey, this is, sending this in, we'd like it more specific. As Dave said, they lump it together, he lumps it
Number
together.
10 says, provide a safe, necessary equipment, and I was like, that was another, I'm like,
How close to 50/50 are you guys?
Right at, right at.
Yeah, but there's basically budgeted numbers, so it's 50/50. I mean, I'm guessing,
Yeah.
I can't say that.
The past year, it's been right at half.
Don't say that.
Well, but I mean,
It just come off the top of my head when I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
well, that basically gives us a year's time that we explore other options.
Yeah.
Not at the last minute, whether we can get out of this agreement. And I've just taken everything that's been discussed, generally speaking, from when their new sanitarian started till now, has done an improved job, as everybody has stated. You really haven't heard complaints from contractors and that, like we did at the beginning. So it is getting up to speed. Yes, it's not exactly perfect, but in the great grand scheme of things, it would be a heck of a scramble to try to get someone in place by June 30th.
And really, right now, we're fairly happy with it, other than the fact we don't get an itemized bill.
Right.
We don't get a good report.
That's my suggestion, the Board of Health might request of the sanitarian, when you send this, like Dave said, put this down as miles, hours spent, not just lumped together that you looked at 6 wells or 8 septic systems.
Right.
he's not the one that puts the billing together.
Now, keep after that.
Obviously, he has to turn it in to get paid for mileage.
Right.
They don't just assume he paid, drove some.
But it's like if he's on the phone a day at the office, it's just wells and permits is where it's listed in the...
We can keep after that,
We just
more
go back to
Specify who it's
clarification.
for, what
Itemized
it's
bill,
to.
itemized bill.
Keep after that.
Show that back to her, so.
Yeah, I mean...
However you wanna do it, work out
Or you
time.
Okay, well, I would say,
And are we paying all the mileage on the
Yeah, we don't know.
testing when they take the water test
Well-
over? I mean, it's not just us, it's them also, I mean,
so, my discussion is keep after them on the itemization, move forward with it, and we got a year plus, give or take. If we wanna get out of this, then we have to have our own in place prior to, this time next year.
And honestly, I don't know if it'll be any cheaper having your own,
No.
but at
Yeah,
least we're...
But we can sure discuss it, so.
Right.
I guess I would make a motion that, begrudgingly approving the 2080 agreement with Pocahontas County for the environmental engineer and sanitarian services for this contract year.
Do they,
I'll second.
second? All right, do we, sign this one, or do they
I'll
gonna
make-
send theirs with their signatures on it, so?
I'll make a copy, a clean copy,
All right.
without this one.
And I think we already had the discussion.
Yes,
so.
we
Yeah.
got plenty of discussion, so
Yeah.
all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign.
All right, I'll make a motion to open the public hearing fiscal year 2022-2023 for the Humboldt County budget.
All right,
Second.
we have a motion and a second, then we will open the public hearing at 8:51. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, we are open. 8:51. All right,
There's your budget. from last year, the total increase from last year would be .474 cents per thousand of taxable value. So, it went from 9.98172 to this year it'll be 10.02912. And that, a lot of it is the increase in everything across the board, from utilities to supplies, everything. I know we've budgeted more because of the increase in electric, gas, and everything.
So was there any written?
No.
You didn't receive anything written? Any questions? There's nobody here. That's Alex.
No one on Zoom.
So if you look at the rates the rates total to 10.03 to round up. And they all come from the top down. So, the particular change would have been in general supplemental fund. Because I'm just looking the difference between last fiscal year and the new fiscal year. That's the only one that really changed. In fact, the debt service fund went down fractionally. So essentially, it's a general supplemental fund that increased.
Correct.
To add to the total. Because it's all, it's broke down between, if you read down from the top down, that's the one that took the bump up.
Yep, debt services went down.
Yep. Rural services did not. In the grand scheme of things, that's a relatively small increase.
Yeah.
But like, I think Trish stated it, people ask, everything's gone up and much.
Everybody knows that.
Yeah. And they don't like it, but
Right, it's a fact.
It is a fact.
Reality.
It is a fact.
It's hard to guess and gander what it's going to be for...
Next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, try to remain modest about it and not go overboard.
No, but you have to have enough to cover.
Stay in 2 years inflation, if not more.
Oh, yeah. But I just wanted to make that point, that just one facet of all of the columns increased slightly.
Right. Well, with no, public input or no written comments, I'd look for a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
I'll second that as well.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. We are closing it at 8:55.
All right.
Now look for a adopt resolution 2022-7, the budget, 22-23 budget.
I'll make the motion to adopt the budget.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to adopt resolution 2022-7, 2022-3 budget. All in favor?
Aye.
Pose same sign. Motion carries. I'd like to say that was fairly painless, but it seems like we've been doing that for just shy of a year.
Actually, it only went up 4 cents a thousand.
That's what I say, it's a small increase, but...
It really is.
With that,
All right, so then there's the,
And the compensation thing, I think we don't even have to, we just don't do that, right? Because we didn't accept the...
what says it?
well, it's
No, it
accepted,
says adopt.
Except
And
that you
then-
gotta approve it.
But it's really not their recommendations.
I did put in there, whereas the Humboldt County Board of Supervisors took into consideration the recommendations of the Humboldt County Compensation Board, voting unanimously on February 14th, 2022, during their regular meeting to adjust the recommendations as follows.
Okay.
So that's the resolution or the,
22-08. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second to adapt 2022-8, adapting the compensation board's 22-23 recommendations that we altered, right?
Correct.
All right.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. I can sign it after, or you wanna white it out and...
Says Rick Peterson, Chairman.
It does.
Pass it down to Rick.
Yay.
Alex, you wanna sign it? All right, moving on to Ben, he's been patiently waiting.
Oh, you're fine.
Looks like we are scheduled for a public hearing on the secondary roads, 5-year plan that is required by the DOT. So with that, I would look for a motion to open the public hearing.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second to open the public hearing on the 2023, secondary roads. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are open at 8:58. Was there any, Ben, did you get any feedback on this?
No feedback, no comments from anybody outside of the meeting here. We had a public work session for the 5-year plan for the projects that are listed on here. We went through, described what was anticipated for construction coming up, and our focus for doing local construction with county forces this coming fiscal year. The struggles that we're having with the Lone Tree Arch and the historical bridge study that we have a contract for. I'm currently working on project number 2, the bridge northwest of Bode on Hawaii Avenue. I think in maybe another 2-3 weeks, I should have those plans pretty well wrapped up. Dave's got 2 sets of plans for box culvert replacements sitting on the table for me to review. One of them I've already gone through, the other one will be first time, but we're hoping for local letting towards the end of next month for those projects. Those will be done by a contractor. That'll be the 3-span timber bridge on 140th, I believe, east of Bruce Bolt's place, and a 6x6 concrete box culvert in Houston Township, 120th and Colorado, where the drainage district starts.
And all this stuff has a time frame on it, but if something were to happen, you can
I can
shift it to, from one year to the next, it's, say, a bridge or something.
If a bridge were to collapse, yes, then we can do a 5-year plan amendment and subsequent budget amendment to pull a bridge forward. Yes.
So,
Unless it was Murray and it was like $3.5 million, then it might sit closed for a little bit before we can pull that revenue.
any other discussion or questions for Ben?
Okay, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing, and we'll do that at 9 o'clock. And we already said there was nothing written or nobody mad about calling and about it, so look for a motion to approve the Humboldt County 2023 Iowa DOT secondary road budget.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. That's saying that 2023 is hard to remember.
It is.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is approved. Now we need to make a motion to approve the 2023 secondary road construction plan. Anything else you wanna add to that, Ben?
Motion to approve secondary road construction.
I'll second.
Have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. That is carried.
While I've got you guys, we did sign up for some motor grader training. Brian Jackson is a contractor with heavy equipment operation, training specifically out of Omaha, but he goes around the surrounding counties and works with the motor grader operators. Puts them through a week's worth of course.
This one here?
There should be 3 pick-and-flip spots.
Okay.
We are scheduled for the week of June 13th, Monday through Thursday, because the guys will be on 410s with an option to work Friday if we have bad weather. It's 1 day in the class, 3 days in the field. They'll do a level 1 training, level 2 training, super elevation training, and then another course that he offers later on is road building, where they use motor graders to
Reshape the ditches.
reshape the ditches and either cast that material, or fold that material out into the field, or peel it up onto the road and build road surface up.
So this is the one that Adam was talking
Yeah,
about?
the conversation we had down in Des Moines with Adam.
Yep, so Adam's scheduled for the week after us. When we started looking at the number of people for training, he's got 12 guys that he's planning on putting in on it. I'm at 10 right now with 8 full-time blade operators and 2 of my part-time winter operators getting the training.
I think it's good, 'cause all these guys are younger and...
We've lost a lot of experience
Mhm.
over the last 4 years. Our senior-most blade operator right now has about 4 or 5 years experience on it.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Have you done similar training in the past?
Counties have, we have not.
This is a new, kind of a new...
We've done motor grader operator training. That's usually a training offered once a year in May. This is a guy that actually shows up out here
Oh, this is awesome.
and
Hands-on.
it's hands-on. We'll bring guys with their pieces of equipment out, go out on a gravel road, and then he'll work with all of them
That's, I think this is
to learn how to
very
shape
good,
a road.
very good.
And
Yeah,
and also,
observe them.
Yeah.
teach them how to
Give them
work
little
with reshape the
things.
ditch,
Techniques
with the road
and-
rotator.
Right.
Bring it back, so
Yeah.
back up on the shoulder.
Yeah, that's the second class, but this is just be strictly towards road maintenance, this first go-around.
This first go-around, yeah, is just level 1, level 2 super elevations.
Yeah,
and
no, but
then
it's excellent.
the second class that he offers, which we'll sign up for another day, would be to learn how to
Yep.
shape ditches with the machine.
Yeah, I think it'll be a good experience.
Oh, I think it's an absolute excellent idea.
What started out as Adam was wanting to share, and then when you have too many numbers, then the numbers, or there's too many to...
Originally, we
Keep
worked
'em.
on, yeah, we were gonna share the classroom day
Too
with
many
them,
people.
but that's too many guys.
Too many guys to try to
Well, good, thanks
keep
for
from talking and whatever.
doing that, 'cause I think it's hands-on and it's awesome.
So that's good. And what was the date on there?
That is the week of June 13th.
And I also heard you made reference to the 410s. I was been putting that on my paper, and then I walk away and think I forgot to ask you. We are doing that?
We are planning on doing the 410s again. The guys do like it. The quarry has been working with us to adjust their hours of operation some to accommodate our hauling early and late. We're probably a week away from hauling rock on the gravel roads. we're finishing up brush, picking up rocks out in the field, or out in the road ditch that have magically been transported there.
Snow fence?
Snow fence, yeah. So we're finishing up that bucket list, and we'll be jumping to roads here shortly.
Hopefully you get that pesky word out of the,
Yeah, Farmers
There's one more
Almanac is
chance.
still calling for a nasty one the end of April if you follow Farmers Almanac.
Oh, the end of April, huh?
That's why not?
Yeah.
But, if that happens.
I still remember, I was out of electricity the 2nd of May for 3 days, a few years back.
Snowstorm while we were paving one year.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
yeah, we couldn't remember how to change the sign.
Change the fire so many times.
Beyond that, I have a quote from Fort Dodge Asphalt to do, full width microsurfacing. I talked to you guys a while back about that. If you go south of Harcourt, you can see where Greene County did it on their roadway, really smooth things up. I asked for a quote from them to do the 5 miles of States Avenue, that we recently crack filled and did transverse cracks with microsurfacing. And, the 1 mile stretch northwest out of Bradgate, it's 165th Street, it's a road to nowhere now, so I mean, it's basically, this is our version of a chip seal on this road. They did come back and quote us, $199,727.50. I would like to proceed with that. Like I mentioned last week, we did have a large budget for asphalt maintenance this past year with the original thought of doing C-20 from Bode to McKnight's Point, and we ended up using farm-to-market money for that. So I do have the money set aside in asphalt maintenance.
So if you did that, altering that blacktop, what's that gonna extend the life? I mean, are they hoping that it would make it 10 years, 8 years? I mean...
10 years.
10 years?
Yeah.
And then...
The one at Bradgate should last a long, long time.
Right,
Yeah.
the one at Bradgate has very little traffic other than boats who live on that stretch of road.
Yeah.
That one should last quite a while. States Avenue is also one of our lower traffic.
Doesn't get a ton of semi-traffic.
But it does need some attention.
Yeah.
But it does need some...
Where is your starting and ending point on States Avenue?
So that would be...
Starting Highway 3?
Starting at Highway 3, working north to where it switches to Whitetop.
There's Foster Bridge Road.
Okay,
Whatever that road is.
so that's 5 miles?
5 miles.
Yeah, I think that'd be well spent. There's might be more traffic on that than you think, like I said, maybe not a lot of semi, but it's getting pretty rough.
So would that be midsummer, late fall, where are you
I'm
going?
hoping they can get to it before the end of June, where I can use this current
Yeah.
year's
They
money set aside.
give you any indication that if weather hangs in, they could do it?
I'm optimistic that they can if they haven't changed their plan around.
Okay, I think that'd be a good deal.
We've got, like I said, I originally budgeted $475,000 for maintenance repairs. We've spent $55,000, so that brings us down to $420,000. We obligated $70,000 for blacktop service for Sheldon Park. That brings us down to $350,000, and this has spent $200,000 of it, so.
Does that encompass both those areas?
It still leaves some room for, crack filling.
There's a 200 or this short of the States Avenue and then that north.
Both of them.
Both of them.
Yeah, it's roughly 33,000 a mile. So, I've also got a quote for updating our GPS monuments. The last time that those were shot in and calibrated was back in 2011. The state is updating their GPS coordinate system to the 2023 model. We've got a quote from Dan Corbin, who did the last one. It's $35,000 spread out over the next 2 years. Cassuth County is in the process of getting theirs done. They've offered us a little bit of a discount if we do ours at the same time as Cassuth.
Yeah, 'cause
Makes sense.
of the travel costs.
That's one that I didn't have budgeted.
Let's get the funds available, so.
But I haven't funded it.
Okay.
Motion to close public hearing.
I think we did.
Did we?
Yep, I think we got it done. I think that was just extracurricular.
Yeah.
Okay.
You wanna close it again? Ben said, I thought we did too, but
Yeah, I think we're
On
good.
Ben's we did. I thought we had one to...
No, we haven't got
Okay.
we haven't got to the ordinance
Reciprocating,
for adopting, 'cause we figured they still might call and change those
Another, yeah.
boundaries.
Maybe how much,
Sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. I was still trying to figure out this
I would put
boundary.
that, on next week's agenda then,
Sure.
and see what, I would check with them and see what their time frame would be. I just worry about if they're gonna do it too early, then you got all the farmers trying to get into the field.
Right.
Is that the same thing they did west, going west on Highway 3 a few years ago? Is that what that was? It's like they cover it with tar and then
No.
but they also cracked, or filled the cracks first, so...
So this one is, if you saw them doing the transverse cracks with the microsurfacing, like if you go west on High School Blacktop, this is a full width, 3/8 inch chip and oil mixture. I mean, it all comes down and looks like an asphalt overlay. It's just a very thin overlay.
All right,
Should smooth things up.
good. I'll put that on next agenda and see where we go. Anything else? We don't have to put the 410s on, as a motion now, do we?
No.
Just letting us know. Okay. All right, then we'll go to the public hearing, first reading of the amendment for the Humboldt County Ordinance 58, adopting the redistricting and re-precincting plan.
Dave, you can open the public hearing now.
Now I can open a public
No.
hearing.
I'll second Dave's motion to open the public hearing.
I'll let you do that at
I'm still trying to figure out all
9:15,
that.
or 14, excuse me. All right, well, as we all know, third time's a charm, and I guess, I'm assuming, being they didn't like the first two,
This is their
this is their version, this is their suggestion,
and
does it,
it's not pretty, but it works, I guess, and the voting precincts, there'll be 6, so Eric's district essentially is split in 2, and that's how they did that. And so the 5 supervisors districts have only changed slightly because of the wards within Humboldt, is what kind of skewed everything there. Dave is all of Dakota City.
I do have all of it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
and I took a little bit of Humboldt from you.
You can have that. I see you don't have to get 21 signatures now.
oh yeah,
Yeah, they decided to change that.
sorry if I haven't been,
Changed that about 2 days before you had to have them in.
I know it.
Really?
Yeah, you had to have them in by the 25th. They changed it on the 23rd.
Before they said 100.
Like, what?
I've been black flagged, 'cause I could not help, but I had to reply, thank you for, after we all did our 100 plus.
Yeah.
Well, at least our badge got some results.
Well, let's know you're walking in.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
All right, so there was, we didn't hear anything negative, no comments, no, so I guess I would look for a motion to close the public hearing if we don't have any input from anybody else.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to close the public hearing at 9:16. All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign, motion carries. All right, look for approval on the amendment for the Humboldt County Ordinance 58, adopting the county redistricting and re-precincting plan.
I'll make, go ahead.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed,
This
same
is gonna be a
sign.
roll call, being since ordinance.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah,
All right,
yep.
Usually you catch that, Dave.
I'm still working on this.
all right, you wanna do the Sandy,
Aye.
Dave,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Rick,
Aye.
Bruce, aye, all ayes. All right, now, what's your thoughts on the possible waiver?
Does somebody wanna read this the first time, or,
No, I'm...
that would be the Humboldt County Ordinance number 58, correct?
Yep.
I make a motion that we, waive the second and third readings of said amendment, to ordinance number 58.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to waive the second and third reading on, ordinance 58. Any other discussion? Same thing, we gotta do a roll call.
I think so.
Sandy?
Aye.
Dave?
Aye.
Eric?
Aye.
Rick?
Aye.
Bruce, aye. All ayes. Now, if they send it back, do we go,
We're done.
we're done?
I hope they like their own plan.
Figure out where the heck
Well, we just
everything goes.
accept
Just
it.
trying to,
I sheet.
Entertain them.
Computer.
You can see it.
You can see the streets, you blow it up.
all right. Do we wanna do Linda and do our committee reports before we go to drainage, or do you wanna put drainage in the middle of that?
Let's just finish up. I got all of it figured out, except, am I going up K Road?
Yes. I have from Bush Street in Humboldt over to Fifth, down to, up to the fairgrounds.
You're on the
Everything up on top of
Actually, I
the
go
hill,
up Montana.
up on top of the hill.
Yeah,
So you be on the east side of K and I'm on the west?
that's the way it looked, I
That's
think.
what I thought.
But that would cut me out of Dakota City, so...
No, I think you have all of Dakota City, Dave.
Yeah, well, yeah, I got all of Dakota City, but it's a straight line up, that's what I was trying to figure out. Reading all that.
Morning.
Oh, yeah, that's not County K Road, that one.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Probably I would call that the,
Always gets rotated around.
Like off the end of Montana.
yeah.
All right, Linda's here.
Okay, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I just wanted to update all of you and, you know, maybe kinda get it out to what's going on to the public, that I've told you before, we're required by the Department of Revenue to, update our manual, our cost manual for calculating, houses and buildings and that sort of thing, and a new one came out in 2020, and we only have a couple years to get it on. So we elected to put it on this year, because this is an off year, where we don't have equalization, so if we happen to be a little low or a little high or whatever, we don't get an equalization order because of it. But it did change everybody's value, so I just kinda wanted to let you know what it did, so you can be,
Better?
yeah. You can be prepared when somebody asks you about it. Farmland didn't really change, you know, we lowered that last year. dwellings on ag land, went up about 12%. Residential property went up 8.17%. Now, this doesn't mean everybody's goes up the same, you know, there's maybe some that went up more, some that went down, whatever.
Prices in general.
Yep,
That was 8?
yep. Yeah, rural went up 15%, and the urban went up 6%. Commercial, went up 1.86%. So it didn't change too much for commercial. Now industrial is,
That's the nasty one.
yeah. We don't usually equalize it because there's never any sales to guide us to do that. But when we get a new manual, it definitely goes on the new manual, and that will be an overall increase of 22%.
Ooh, that'll make the phone ring.
Yeah. So, and that,
So that's statewide,
no,
so that's just in our county?
Yes.
Well, didn't the rest of the state take that same,
well, that's when there's equalization orders. This is just our doing here in our county. A lot of counties are going on the new manual this year. Some are electing to do it next year. Next year's the last year, I believe, that they can have to get it on there. Some already have it on, so, and the cost of everything has increased so much in the cost manual, that's why everything is higher when you calculate it. And then you've gotta incorporate your sales data on what it's doing into this to be at, your median of 95 to 105. So, our median for residential with the new values is 95%. So, that's pretty good.
Yeah, it's on the low end.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's, let's see, I think there was 165 sales. Commercial, we're at 98%, and that's only 8 sales. So, but we're within the 95 to 105 range, so we feel pretty comfortable of using these values. And like always, if someone has an issue with it, the Board of Review meets the month of April, and they can file a protest. So, any questions?
Well, just, you kinda touched on the cost manual, and that's dictated that as many things are from the state.
Yes.
And so, like Bruce mentioned, every county in the state will have to use that,
Yes.
but they aren't telling them they have to use it until next year?
I think that is the deadline.
And they
You can
have-
get an extension until next year.
So, what's in this cost manual? Does it give you like this amount, this guideline, this percentage that you have to start with and utilize?
The cost manual, when it's printed, is about like this.
Right.
And it, covers every type of building you could possibly think of building,
Right,
and you go by the square footage.
yeah,
And, they have grade factors, you know, like if it's, kinda not made so well, it's a lesser grade, and if it's got more quality materials, it's a higher grade. You can apply those, and then we use, we'll have a new depreciation schedule too now, and, that's applied to it. And then we apply, manual level, it's called, which is, geared towards our sales in Humboldt County. Our manual level for Humboldt for residential, I think it's at 105. And, which indicates a very strong market in Humboldt County. So, and our commercial's at 115. So, that's how we arrive at these figures.
But the starting off point comes from this new state cost manual.
Mhm. Yep.
And you're wanting to implement it now, because explain then like you said, the equalization, that's an every other year process?
Yep.
And that's next year, not this year?
Next year,
So
right.
it's better to have this cost manual utilized in an off year?
I think so, yeah.
Because people are gonna be confused about this, because I think we are.
Mhm.
And, so the explanation of it, but, you know, you gotta condense it down to where this is state mandated to
Mhm.
every county by next year.
Right.
And their jumping off point, to look at all of the facts and figures, and like you mentioned, the building construction and that,
Mhm.
to start.
Right.
What does equalization do then, when you implement that?
Next year, well, we keep track of all our sales for 2022, all our arm's length sales that aren't, affected, yeah.
Family related, or
Yeah.
some skewed
Estate.
number, you know.
Yeah,
Like market
Market value.
value sales, yes.
those will all be analyzed by us, and they're sent into the Department of Revenue daily, too, and they analyze them. And if our median for the year, the sales year for 1/1/22 through December 31st, if our median is 90%, we'll get an equalization order for 10% to bring it up to 100,
Okay,
or thereabouts.
how does that work, when you say equalize? Does it mean it equalizes it up, or equalizes it down?
It could go either way.
Yeah,
It could go either way. If we're too high, they will tell you to lower them.
right,
If we're over that 105,
true, correct.
Okay,
basically, the state comes in and looks at your books and tells you whether you're doing it right or not. Correct?
Yeah, I guess you could,
They set the bar, and
Yeah,
they want you to adjust to
Right.
what they
Right.
want.
Yeah.
yep. And that was kind of the idea of implementing this, so you didn't have to implement this at the same time as, because equalization...
Because of workload, right? This takes some time to put this in and get it.
oh, yeah, yes, it's,
Yeah, 'cause you had mentioned this some time ago about
Mhm.
implementing this.
mhm,
And it would be implemented, and then next year, this equalization will be looked at. And that comes from true sales?
mhm. And we're going by our sales this year, too.
Right,
I mean,
right.
we wouldn't let it be out of the range of the 95 to 105. Because, well, just because we wouldn't,
Right.
but,
Obviously, people appreciate keeping their value down on the lower end than the higher end.
but like I said, next year, if you get an equalization order, you get the equalization for the whole amount. Like, if you're 10% low, you get the 10% order. If we're like 4% low, then you won't get an order on that to bring it up to 100. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
It's a very confusing formula process.
Yeah.
And the only thing that's more confusing is the farmland valuation, when will that take place?
Next year.
Next year?
Mhm.
Yeah, 'cause people think, geez, the price of farmland's just skyrocketing, but their taxes are going down.
It doesn't, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's not based on the selling price of farmland like it is
Based on
on true properties.
Productivity, mhm.
So, but that is does that adjust every 2 years?
Yes, it is.
So next year will adjust.
Mhm.
I expect
And
that.
it's based on the last 5-year, numbers.
Yeah, so there'll be some differential there.
Mhm.
The only thing more confusing is when you're getting your backside chewed because of this, trying to explain it to them.
It's, I was gonna say, it's very, but I mean, I'm just trying to simplify it, like into really simplify it, the state is gonna come out, they did, with the cost manual. You're gonna have to base it off of that. There's a range of where do your dollars assessed fall into, between whatever, what is it,
95 to 105.
95
You can be 5% low or 5% high.
So,
Off of 100%.
yeah, so you have, that's always been there, and it's always gonna be there.
Yep.
And this helps get it there, and obviously, the state kind of audits assessments, is that fair to say, across the state? They look at everybody's.
Oh, yeah.
That's why they give you that range.
That's a good term, it's, you know.
Yeah.
They audit, they look at it, and they say, 'cause, just because some county in Timbuktu, Iowa, can't say, we just don't wanna have this stuff valued. They say, you do have to have it valued, that
Yes.
this, in this parameter.
Yes,
But
and they
then-
watch your reason codes on maybe knocking a sale out,
Yep.
you know,
But we...
it doesn't, you don't just get to say, oh, I'm not gonna use that sale, I'm putting this code on it, you know.
Right.
It don't
That
work.
speaks to sales between one family member to the next, and a $100,000 house, just real round figure, and if you can even buy one, is a $50,000 house.
Right.
It's not, they don't use that, because
No.
it's not a true market sale. They look at the true market sales, but the counties, each individual county does have the ability, a little bit, because of sales and that, to find out where their final numbers land then.
Within 5%.
Within, yeah, so you do have a discretionary figuring, but the state ultimately says, okay, it's gonna be in this
And
range.
like our commercial sales, we had one come in the other day that, I think we're 100,000 low. If you just, and that's a good sale, it'll be used,
Yeah,
so, I don't know what it'll be by the end of the year, but, you know, things are really, you think that it will level out eventually, but so far not, so.
well, just one other quick question with this new manual.
Mhm.
Does it essentially, through the 2.5-inch thick manual,
Yeah.
as you sort through it and use the numbers that are in it, and...
That's all on our computer.
Yeah, but still, it's a lot of stuff to
Yeah.
sort through, and I know that's
Yeah.
why you're doing it in an off equalization here.
Mhm.
Does it essentially say everything's gonna get assessed higher? I mean, if you put in the factors and the figures and the figuring and all that, it's essentially pushing it up,
Yeah.
and it's a state mandate.
Yeah.
Well, just go buy anything that you build, material build with.
Right,
Oh,
so,
a 2x4 is $10.
$9 at Menards.
Yep.
and some of that is factored into this manual cost and how you...
Well, and that's behind what's going on
Oh,
right
sure it is.
now,
Yeah,
because that manual was developed several years ago.
yeah,
And this manual, I think they said is like around 30% higher than the old one.
right.
And if they were using today's cost...
Yeah,
Yeah, if they're using like one that was produced last week.
Yeah,
It would be a
right,
lot more.
That'd be
Right.
really nasty.
yes.
So, I mean, people just need to have a general idea, you don't pull numbers out of thin air. It's based on a lot of criteria.
Mhm.
You know, like Rick mentioned, farm ground, people think, oh, it's selling for, it will never match what
No.
it's selling for, but it will match your productivity. And I'm not an assessor, obviously, nor do I write these figures and that, but you've ran through them with us. I would venture to guess that when that's reevaluated next year, that will go up.
Well, grain prices are up,
Chances are that will, 'cause there again, that's a figure.
Right.
This has been in this
Mhm.
code for what?
but then
Since
again,
Haywood?
expenses are up,
Right.
Yeah.
so I don't know how it's gonna...
But that'll go through its own process as well.
Right,
And the numbers be assigned, and it'll come up with evaluation.
right,
Just like this code is
Right.
what you utilize.
mhm,
State mandated.
yep. So,
Well, everything you do is state mandated.
mhm,
And unfortunately, too many of the things that we do for the county are state mandated. And there's just, you can't just arbitrarily
No.
make stuff up,
no,
'cause they do audit it, they look at it,
yes.
they tell you.
Have we done a first and a second on this question? we've been at this a while, I've forgotten.
I was just having
We haven't
discussion.
even,
All right.
we haven't even got to that.
I don't even think we have to vote on it.
No, I just wanted to inform.
You had mentioned this some time ago, Linda, that you were gonna
I
do this.
just wanted to inform you guys, and hopefully people that are maybe watching, or, you know, will...
They're watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, believe me, no.
That's why I
No,
thought,
They know that those things.
Yeah, so, yes, and we will be sending out notices this week, so, later this week.
Valuation notices.
Mm-hmm,
okay.
That should,
That'll,
things going by next week.
yes, mm-hmm.
What's the House bill that's in there now or coming up on taxes and valuations? And I was reading something on it last night there under the legislative action.
There's several bills. What does it do to the ballot? I mean, I haven't...
Valuation and all that, they were talking about different stuff in it. Valuation on residential was gonna go down, but on commercial and retail's gonna go up, and...
On the, business property tax credit?
I think that's where it was at, they talked about that.
Yeah, they're phasing that out.
the rollback, basically.
Well, commercial gets a 90%, or 10% rollback. Residential, I can't tell you what it is, it's 40-something, close to 50. And then commercial and industrial gets this business property tax credit that's calculated by the state, and then they send us the money to apply towards the taxes for the commercial and industrial people. Well, now they're gonna make it a credit, I believe is how it's reading, that they will take that away. And you get up, before you got up to $235,000, up to that value, now it'll be $150,000. So actually, and I was just reading this morning where, some of them are kinda concerned that the counties are going to have to maybe pick up more, they won't get as much back from the state, so... And when they implemented this, we all knew that it wouldn't last forever, so...
DPTC?
BPTC, yeah. And it's a nightmare to keep track of. So, I know we had one in a small town, you had to have the same name on every property to have the one credit. And these small towns have small lots, and we had same name, different name, but same owner, same name. Well, I put it all in as one credit, and they called me and says, well, that's a different name in the middle. I says, that building covers from here to here. So tell me how that's 2 credits. So, it's just stuff like that you gotta clear up, and it's a nightmare, but it's a nice chunk they get from the state to lower their taxes. So, yeah, I'm sure that will go through. So,
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thanks for update.
yeah, well, if you get anybody that, just...
I would mention that, yeah, we probably will, and
Tell them it's state mandated, call your legislator.
we can go that route, but if they do come into your office,
Oh, tell them
I
come
think
see
you just
me.
have to,
They
Yes.
still have appeal and they still have the ability to do all the steps they've always had.
much as you did to us, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Just need to be, as politely as possible, explain it to them, because it's hard to understand, it is.
No, yeah, I know it is.
So, you're gonna have people coming in, so we just need to be as patient with them as you were with us just now.
Well, there's nothing simple about it.
Right, there isn't.
Good conversation at Easter.
I'm not saying, I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm not gonna talk about it. I'm gonna do the normal thing and talk about politics.
I just eat.
Well,
That's even better than that.
with that, Colin's wondering, why did I come so early?
Well, he could've called Ben, and Ben could've told him about coming early.
He's saying, this is about like having a tooth pulled.
That's good for you.
Oh, well, let's quickly go through our committee reports.
Okay. On Tuesday, the 22nd, I had a Zoom meeting between the National Association of Work Board, and with Iowa Workforce Development, and we had that because of the 6 regions that had their local plan, disqualified by the state, so we have to...
Rejected.
Yeah, rejected, thank you, better word. Which we are also happy about because we spent hours.
Oh, of course, it's like everything
Days, hours, I mean, it's just, and so the national group was trying to explain to us, because this is a new law that is finally taking place in Iowa. It's been in place since 2014, but, the Department of Labor just said a couple of years ago, Iowa has to do it. But anyway, so yeah, it's just, yeah, it's that. And then, I won't go into it anymore, it's just irritating. But anyway, on the 23rd, we actually met, with Region 3, 4, we're Region 5, in Storm Lake with Iowa Workforce Development. We're just going over we share a director, and so we're just trying to figure out what we can do to maybe streamline some processes. And that's all I had.
That's it.
That's it.
Wednesday the 23rd, I had a Midas meeting in Fort Dodge. And Humboldt County still needing 3 bus drivers. So if you need anybody that wants to drive bus,
Are those still the same, they have to have CDL and all of the passenger,
yep.
so you have to do the training to...
And they've got something set now where the training is a lot easier.
Right, that's what I thought I heard.
So, they don't have to have that extensive training and...
And you know, they have some crazy hours, 'cause when I leave in the morning, a lot of times there's 2 or 3 buses already out in town.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
People around it before 6 o'clock. So they must be getting people to work.
or something.
Yeah, we've need 7 or 8 drivers up there, and I think we've got 4.
Mhm.
So,
Wow.
4 or 5, but they said they needed more. We're not the only county.
No,
Calhoun County needs some, Pocahontas needs some, Wright, Webster, they all need some. That's the only thing I had. Had one big meeting last week, that was on Wednesday the 23rd in Webster City. We had a decategorization meeting that afternoon, and that was what I had officially last week.
We had no official meetings.
I had our UDNO, the 22nd, that was a Zoom. Do you have anything for us?
I had a question for you, I think if, 'cause I was on...
Me, or?
You.
Oh, wow.
Well, UDMO, but not so much the food pantry thing, the last one.
Yeah.
Did they do okay with getting the stuff pushed up north again?
They did.
Okay.
They had great numbers up there.
I needed to get after somebody that's taking advantage of it, but...
Oh, they did an awesome job. They had their people down here. They've got it coordinated where the truck drops it off at whatever time, and they were there at that next
Okay.
time and picked up the numbers. They bring their sheets down for names.
So they did well with that again. I just wanted to...
They're getting it to the point where it working pretty slick.
Good.
And, I think, Guy said everything worked
Awesome.
well.
Because,
So they,
yeah, I know from quite a long time of this, that's always a concern, and it
Yep.
didn't, and they're doing well with that, and
Yep.
getting the distribution like it should be, and awesome.
they've got the people up there taking care of
Good,
distributing it, so it works out swift.
Good.
Sweet.
good.
All right, well, with that, then we need a motion to go into drainage, I think, so we can get Colin down the road.
Do you have anything else?
Just update that, the recabling people have been here periodically, pulling cables to the...
Making noise, I hear.
Lots of noise, going through,
Layers of cement through the building, I'm sure that's extremely...
That should make a lot of noise.
It's like a 3-inch hammer drill.
they had some type of a 12-gauge gun, I think is what he said it was, that puts, brackets into the cement.
Yeah, shoots them in.
Wow.
So...
That's a little noisy.
Yeah.
They should have hit your
Pretty
panic
little
button.
nerve-wracking.
Yeah, they notified all of us before, so we didn't do that. We did have some...
Think they were shooting trap out in the front yard?
I got one,
Never heard it, actually, down here, but
Mine too.
things are progressing there, I think.
I stopped in there the other day, it was fairly dusty, they had been drilling up, and he was in there vacuuming, and
They have done
the ladies were a
excellent.
little,
There was some grease on the floor, they cleaned it up, they did some drywalling, and, 'cause the, drill nicked the wall, and they're excellent.
That's good.
Good. Good. Motion to go into drainage. Second.
we have a motion and a second to go into drainage, all in favor, aye?
Aye.
Pose same sign, we are in drainage, thank you. And if you wanna put together something, or do you want us to brainstorm, or how do you wanna, or some type of, we need to know what dates for in spring and fall, and then put that on our notice that March or September, we're within 5 weeks of when it should be countdown, and so we can put it together.
Short recess?
Yes.
Short?
Very short.
Short.
Sounds good. I will
Thank
see
you.
if I can...
And if we get some type of log or something that we can track,
Break time.
On a open ditch,
Sign
what do you consider
that.
to be the right of way at the top?
Well,
That we have to clean without having to pay damages.
so it should be in the
Taking care of it,
record,
that's it.
but we
Oh,
found...
you do that other one with your name.
County,
to vote.
there's not a lot of, like, it would be when
All right,
the ditch...
I'll stop in there, 'cause I gotta sign the book.
Oh,
They would've
okay.
had to appoint, like, damage appraisers, and then sometimes, maybe the most of the fee is like, this is how much money they gave a parcel, and they don't necessarily define the acres of width. You hope they do, but generally, what they would do is it would be from top of bank to top of bank, plus whatever width they needed for the unleveled soil. So if you imagine when they first dug the ditch, and they didn't level it out, like they made a pile there,
Yeah.
so another at least 10 to 15, maybe 20 feet beyond the top of the bank is typically what you would presume that they had acquired, but, yeah.
Because we don't, like, when we do any kind of work along the ditch, we don't pay damages usually until they're out 80 feet from the ditch.
Oh, really?
Top of the bank.
Okay.
Is that reasonable?
Yeah, we ain't opened the window yet.
I mean, yeah, technically it's supposed to be whatever's defined, like what's defined, but then another thing is that right of way is not supposed to be on the property tax.
Do you want the window open too?
And then you can, like, you look at the beacon or whatever and see what's reduced off for drainage right of way, and that can kinda give you a hint sometimes too, but yeah, that's like a lot of smaller cleanouts, typically you'd have them like go out there, try to avoid crop.
As much as
right?
they, yeah,
As much
if
as
after
can.
they do, and then they wait till after the crop's out to do the leveling and stuff.
Yeah, and that helps with that stuff a lot, like, a lot of the bigger ones, you really don't have a choice, like, you try to minimize crop damages and stuff, but a lot of times they have to do...
Cool air coming through there.
Yeah. No, that's
Give the
pretty...
vault window open and nice breeze coming in.
There was somebody had called Rick about, they were driving by there was a ditch clean out or something, and he was concerned about pipes like sticking way out into the ditch. Is there something going on right now, or that you know of? A ditch clean out?
just, we're gonna be working on that, DD 11, that little lateral A.
Is there there's nobody working on any right now?
Right now, they're just finishing everything up.
Peterson and them are down
They're down in-
cleaning timber. down
Yeah, but that is,
Beaver Township.
well, what's his name, Brandon Myers is working up there north of town. He put in some new pipes there just this last week.
That's DD 29 up where, Kevin lives.
That might
They're
be it.
finishing that up. They're doing the end of DD 10 clean out down in Beaver
But
Township.
that's
And then
no
we've
pipe
got-
work.
DD 18,
I know Brandon Myers is doing pipe work on DD 29 right now.
Okay. Well, that's on my way, I might
Yeah, just
swing
stop
by
there,
there
yeah.
and take a look.
Take a look.
See. 'Cause if they're, cantilevering out like 10 feet out of the bank.
Oh, yeah,
it's not good.
no, they're not. I went by there the other day and I didn't notice
Okay.
anything like that.
Okay. Very good.
Someone who's pretty critical of the work out there, so, pretty good complaint from him.
Did you guys get copies of both reports? That one, and then there was another one.
Oh, yeah, I went earlier.
I made copies of the assessment schedules, and then I have copies of this. I didn't know if you were bringing copies or not.
Yeah, I brought enough for the board, but I figured if you guys already had them, I would just leave them with you, and if landowners come in,
That's
pick
fine.
anything up, you could just give it to them.
All right, I think we're all back. Ben went running downstairs. He's involved in this with the, I suppose, the
Yeah.
Florida area.
Yeah, I've been talking with Ben about it.
Perfect. So we are looking to, reclassify, set a public hearing.
Well, and actually, this is a preliminary classification, so it hasn't had hasn't had commissioner involvement or anything. This is just ahead of the report to give landowners an idea of what they might be looking at as far as
Cost.
cost. The final classification stuff would happen afterwards. We wouldn't wanna do it ahead of time before we knew the project is going, because it does, like, it splits water going different directions, and that would all have an impact on the classification.
Well, I'm just
Yeah.
wanting so I can announce what we're sitting here ready to do, so,
Yep, so I'm filing the preliminary engineering report
okay,
for Drainage District 103.
103,
And then it'll be setting a hearing date,
yep,
for the improvement project.
okay.
Okay.
So this was brought last fall, wasn't it?
Yeah.
By some people up in the north side of Bode, looking for help on that area.
Yeah, Russ Larson had...
Larson and-
Yeah, he filed the petition.
I got,
What was it?
I don't remember, but did Russ Larson...
Oh, sorry,
got in
sorry,
front of
that's
it?
DD 11.
Olson.
Yeah,
John Olson,
Sorry.
John or Rich, probably.
John and Rick.
Yeah, yeah, another district.
I got a question for you here.
Sure.
I noticed, we got a separation line that wasn't in, is that like, this area here is gonna be bearing the cost?
So, and I don't know if you were here,
I may have missed that meeting.
Yeah, so Rick and I were here to just kind of update on what we're thinking with this project, and so, right now, there's a main tile that crosses through the railroad tracks in a couple of different places,
Mhm.
and it's in poor shape, but,
Yeah.
and with railroads...
I understood that part, but I thought this was one district, but now it looks like it's gonna be two...
We would be splitting it.
This line here.
Yeah.
We would be splitting it, because we'd be kind of rerouting water to a new outlet.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, we'll run a tile on the north side of the tracks and then outlet it there, and then leave the tile south of the tracks alone, so it'll be two distinct areas served by different tile.
Okay, that's what I...
That's why I got-
That was the question I had, that it was being split off.
Yep.
So that one, the one that's left on the tracks will still be operational, but it just may be limited? We won't crush it, or we won't do anything to it,
One
right?
south of the tracks?
Yeah,
Correct.
okay.
It's, I mean...
Still be
It'll be its
operational.
own sub-district, basically, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You're gonna
basically,
create,
I'm
you're taking
calling
one
it the-
district and splitting it in half.
Like a south main tile and a north main
Okay.
tile.
Different laterals or whatever, how are we gonna call it?
Yeah, like,
So I have two different mains.
yes. But I was just calling it the north main tile and the south main tile.
Are you using the railroad tracks as the split?
No, not really.
Not
Pretty
quite.
close.
You see this red line here?
Yeah,
I got that.
goes over there, goes up there.
So, and then one of the reasons why there's, the main tile right now, it crosses the tracks and goes on the south side of the tracks, up
Then it crosses again.
Bode,
Yeah.
this line here, and so all of that drains here, and then that crosses, it will go into this north main system. So that's-
Basically, what I'm getting to is the south land here is not gonna have any cost in this project, is what looks like you're saying to me.
Well, actually, I do have them as sharing in the cost.
Oh, you do?
And the reason
It
is,
does benefit them greatly, because now they're not taking that water.
correct.
And
And,
I got it, speaking of that, so I don't lose my train of thought, well, this, I know right where this goes,
yep,
but this is basically, you're gonna leave that,
Yep, cut her off there.
but it's not gonna utilize anything under the tracks, there's gonna be no water flowing from the north side into this?
there will be, but we're basically cutting it off just north of the track. So stuff, and actually, that's why the lagoons are still there.
In the
because
south part.
They dump into the existing tile
This
right
one?
before it goes under the tracks.
Okay.
But, so they're gonna still keep going this way
Yes.
then?
That's the
This
way
way
we
goes
have it.
down and goes over.
That's the way we have it set up right now. If we absolutely needed to turn it and take that water north, we could. It would just be harder, if you look at the proposed alignment map, it'd be hard to get down into that corner and then make more than a 90-degree turn and a lot more monkeying around.
Yeah. And if that pipe fails under the track someday, you could do that, it'd be a lot cheaper.
Yeah, they could.
Well, yeah, you won't wanna try to bore into the tracks there, so.
All right,
All right.
I'm good now.
Please don't.
Just gotta clarify.
Oh, right.
Well, it won't happen. so.
I know, but please don't mess with the tracks.
Yeah.
So the only under track is gonna be what's there right now?
There, and then that one there will still be there.
That's still gonna be there?
Yeah.
That was
The old
Yes.
district
They
tile.
have nothing to do with it.
Those two.
So that's just gonna hang
And
in,
that'll come into the new tile.
then it'll go into the new tile.
Correct.
Okay, I got it.
Okay.
The other thing, and to bring Ben into the conversation, we had talked about ending it by crossing the county road there by the elevator,
Mm-hmm.
and then putting a large intake on the west side of the road.
West side or the east side?
West side, at first, but actually, this plan now is to not cross the road, to put a large intake in the east side of the road, in the ditch. And part of that was, there's this whole thing about when you cross county roads with drainage tiles, then does the county secondary roads pay for that construction? Well, this is in Bode city limits, so that kinda changes things, and we had Doug Strike look at it, and there's a 2080 agreement that Ben shared with me that, in his opinion, would transfer that burden over to the city of Bode. And really, to bore under that and then just stop and put an intake in would be a pretty costly measure for either the county or the city, really, when you're talking about, it's mostly for taking care of the elevator's water.
Yeah, and is there probably culverts under the road that move it under the road right now?
And there's
Yeah.
a 8-inch private tile that we found that
Yep.
runs under the road.
Okay.
So what size would that be if you ever had to do that? Would that be a huge
Go under the
bore?
road,
Yeah.
what,
It was gonna be a 16-inch.
Oh, I was thinking it was bigger than that.
we did a 12-inch bore on the high school blacktop in December, and that was roughly 20,000. So safety's probably 25 or 30.
Well, the only thing about that, there is a lot of surface water on the west side of the road. And, you know, you guys know now what the existing structures are there to get it from the west to the east, 'cause that's really the way it's supposed to go. It's supposed to get, supposedly, most of it is supposed to get into this tile system.
Right.
And is that going to, because there's a complaint, sort of, or concern, more than a complaint, that used to get into the tile system and just go where the tile system goes. It's not making it there because, you know, whatever, and it's running along, staying on the west side, and it's creating its own surface drainage going north alongside the road and the right-of-way. Where it never, to any degree, did that before.
It's leaving the district.
Yeah, well, it kind of is, but it's becoming surface water instead of tile water. So, just the thing is, I know that's a lot of money, and you thought about it correctly, but what's gonna, happen to all that, that's not going away. I know you're improving the tile, is there enough capacity, anything, to get it from the west side to the east side?
Is there enough culverts?
Into this new tile system, which will get rid of it then. But I'm afraid that you're gonna not alleviate the surface water problem on the west side of the road much.
Well, there will need to be some ditch regrading done to help, the water, make sure there's enough grade in the ditch that it'll hold too. Like if you have almost nothing, things can happen and then it doesn't get through as quick. But we do some regrading in the ditch to connect some of these culverts so that it can get through, and then regrading down on the east side of the road, and then put our culvert in a low spot and then grade it to the intake so that it gets there. Another thing that I've considered, and that's not in the official design, if the project moves forward, we look at that, but doing some sort of a ditch block in the west road ditch, like a short berm.
Yeah.
That would,
A little levee.
when water comes up a little bit and it's going down, but it would at least hold it from continuing north.
North, yeah.
While it's taking care of that.
You can do all that stuff, but you may end up, on a big rain event, you might have the water going over the road if you dike it, 'cause that water goes where it goes. And right now, 'cause of the lack of, availability or accessibility for it to get away, it's just decided it's...
Need to look at putting a bigger pipe under the road right there, and, 'cause that'd be a way...
Is there an actual...
Still inside city limits. So
Yeah.
it's gonna
Ben, is there just an actual plain old under-the-road culvert that's not tied into any tile? Right? I don't think there is.
On the west side, by the elevator's ground, they've got an 18-inch culvert underneath the roadway, and then they've got an intake. And now the intake's sitting about a foot high, and they've got a pile of rock around it, so the reason that there's quite a bit of standing water in that west ditch is that intake's not to proper grade. That, plus they've developed that entire area on the west side and made it impervious. Yeah, I mean, it used to just drain through the ground, and now it's all rock and
Cement.
cement.
Building.
Where,
Right.
from the old shop, from our old shop, is this gonna be would this be on the south side of that, or on the north side, this line?
The proposed tile, that I don't know.
Not, when you say shop, you talking the elevator shop?
Oh, well,
The
we used
old
to...
county shop, essentially, I think it's on the south side of that.
Well, they've got a road over there, street over there to that, Big Ben system, and now that they have a scale with their beam dumping area.
It's
That's right.
it's not
Looks like it's to the north of our building.
right in here.
If I'm looking at the first map right.
I can get you different.
Well, my concern is just getting that huge amount of surface water into this new drainage system.
Well, for the city of Bode, $30,000 on
So I know it's right south of that.
36-inch pipe
Right in here.
through the road, the culvert, and bring it across that way too, a lot cheaper than boring a tile.
That's what I was wondering.
I did look at that, but the driveway, the 24-inch under the road right now, and the culvert they have enough capacity
So
that they will fill
where is the
tile that
water
I've got.
actually standing in the
It'll,
west
it can bring enough
ditch?
water that it'll keep the
Oh,
tile.
down.
Right here.
Culvert is big enough.
It
Yeah.
stands all along there.
There is an existing under the road culvert.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In the correct area.
Run to the road.
Yeah.
It has to, it has to run through the middle of that.
Cross the road, run back to
The crossing,
It actually has to run
the 18-inch
south,
crossing
then cross the road, and then run back north.
Okay.
Okay.
So is that your ditch reshaping and
Yeah, the old one.
maybe that will
And
work.
then we're gonna put
Maybe that will
but we're
work.
not
But I just know, I mean, I'm not an engineer right now, when you go and look at the fact that it's not getting into the drainage system. It's just the water, this is the water, it decided, I'm going north.
Yeah.
And it's going north, and it cut, foot to
It's
2 foot.
all of this area here
Right
that's
away,
in
that
the
never
elevator
was
building
in,
and with
a little
all
bit
kinds
went that
of
way in the
rock.
past, but most of it got into the tile.
Right.
But when they developed all that, and everything is screwed up, so maybe your thought will work.
This is gonna be,
And just in general too, like, my thought with the design is, you could design it, just like, take the water like that, but we'd have to put in really big tile.
But because
Really, the thought is, okay, let's
that
make sure it gets out of there in a
all of
day.
the city.
And that's where I've got it.
It might work, it's almost like a retention pond.
Yeah.
The county pays for
And
that.
a lot of that,
And there's a road ditch for a day.
part of it was, it was kinda doing that, when these are torrential rain events, when it's like, I'm not, the water's there, so I'm not standing there, I'm heading north. The problem is, the tile's in such tough shape, that's why they're putting a new system in, that it just never really got out of there. I mean, even though it was getting there, most of it, it just took forever, for it to leave, so. Maybe you're reshaping and getting it, and with the new tile,
They got water coming from there.
and some of these events, we're talking not just an inch or two of rain, we're talking here, the torrential rain events.
Here.
Colin, could we ask, maybe say the elevator to, if they would consider, because a lot of that water is coming from that, I mean, that's a huge parking area, or
That's huge area.
Got 2 or 3 points. It's
probably causing a lot of that water to come towards that ditch.
We could discuss that with them.
I mean, at
And
least
what we would
talk to
do is, if they, we wouldn't put that as part of the reclassification, but you can give them a special, unique assessment. That's just a one-time fee that would be equivalent to whatever the agreement was, if they want it on the west side of the road.
Well, I think it would benefit a lot of people if, with the water that has the potential to channel from their parking,
Yep.
area and going towards the north, because our road is gonna stop the water. And it has to, whatever pipe we have under the road, it has to go from there, under the road, to this
Yep.
new pipe. So I guess, to me, it would be beneficial for them to at least have that option while we're doing it.
Visit with them if they want it on the west side of the road, they might have to help pay for
Yeah.
it.
Yes,
To me,
that's
it would-
exactly what I'm thinking, I mean,
That ain't a bad option.
At least throw that option out there and say, you know, why not do this as a project when it's being done, as opposed to
Later.
2 years down the
Yeah.
road when we get a 10-inch rain, we got 22 inches of water sitting there.
the access for the water on the west to get to the east and go where it's supposed to, because that's where it's supposed to, you're gonna have that problem.
I know, I think so too. That's my opinion.
And
Let's throw it at them.
I was telling them too, like, really, I guess, and I told Ben this, that there's a 24-inch culvert under the road, and with the compacted gravel now and the development with the elevator, I don't think that's adequate for, if you were just sizing it new, but it is big enough to keep the tile that I've got designed full. So it's enough that it can bring that under the road and keep the intake and the tile system full to get rid of that water as quick as possible. If we wanted that, we'd have to talk to the elevator about that too. If they want to get rid of the water like now, we'd have to upsize the system, and that'd be something that,
Because you have to upsize the pipe.
yeah. Basically with this design, I'm trying to find the right balance of, let's try to get rid of the water in about a day, Like, you could get it so big that you'll never have standing water anywhere in the ditch, but it's gonna cost a lot.
Well, by the same token, if you don't throw that option at them, and then they
You're right.
put this thing together, and then we say, well, let's go talk to the elevator now after we put all the work
Well,
into it, then we're behind
You wanna
it.
do it now when it's...
That's my opinion. I would at least throw the option at them and say, hey,
Yeah.
It'd be cheaper to do it now than it would be to wait later down the road. I would say-
Well, when you do your engineering figuring, when you say, to keep the tile system full if it gets into it, what amounts of water are you using? What rainfall events are you using?
So, when I talk about it getting rid of the water in a day,
Yeah.
that's a 3-inch rain.
Okay,
Well, that's reasonable.
okay.
Question.
Sure.
Okay, we set the public hearing date, the elevators been notified, all that stuff. They could come to the public hearing and say, hey, this is the time to discuss this. Correct?
Yeah.
and we're willing, or we don't want anything to do with it.
No.
Who's gonna reach out to the, co-op to see if they wanna do that?
I would have him.
I would rather have him so he knows the
You hold
numbers.
the information, the,
Right.
okay, I just didn't know if he, yeah.
Yeah, and my thought, I guess, with that is we can set the hearing date, and then in the meantime, I can reach out to them and start the discussion. And then we can continue that discussion at the hearing. And that's not in my design to go across the road right now, but it'd be pretty easy at the hearing to, if the project is gonna go forward, for you to approve it, and then just say, with the addition of going under the road and putting an intake in there, and then in the final design that we put out to bid, we
Yeah.
can incorporate that.
Yeah, you might have to change the cost there, it could go up
Right.
immensely because of the pipe size change.
And then we just gotta hope Ben's gonna let us go under his road.
Yep. Of course.
Well, I think,
Because, these elevators aren't getting slapped.
no.
No.
And with the size of that fertilizer area there, they damn sure don't want water backing up anywhere near that. I don't want water backing up, so they're gonna want the water away from that area as quick as they can. That's my opinion.
Okay, this is all good discussion.
Yeah.
What kind of...
What are you looking at time-wise? Yeah.
Well, and
We got-
Kim mentioned sometime in May, but I don't know what you guys thought about having these sorts of hearings during planting season, if that...
Yeah.
Not good.
No, I would,
30-day notice will take us to May 16th, which is gonna fall in planting season. You wait 2 weeks, we've got Memorial Day, and the following Monday is the Monday right before the primary election. That's probably not gonna be...
the public hearing doesn't affect your office a whole lot. You have to sit in here and take notes. Right?
Right.
I mean, there ain't a lot of work to it afterwards.
Well, the other side of that is the public hearing is, they can have the opportunity to voice their displeasure
Yeah.
beforehand. They don't have to be there the day.
No, they can write...
They could write something up and say, I don't want anything to do with it, I think it's a terrible idea, a terrible plan, or I think it's great.
Probably gonna have more city people than farmers.
Are you-
Oh, yeah, definitely, because the city will bear more cost if we go under the road.
But by the same token, we're hopefully getting some of the water that they've had backed up, the things that we've heard,
Yeah.
Right.
getting it away from town.
They've had a lot of problems, haven't they?
Oh,
yeah, it's-
That's why I'm...
Yep.
I think go ahead and go with that April date so we can keep this process moving, get it let out, and maybe get the work done this fall.
Yes.
April, what you talking?
Okay. We're looking at June to do...
You have to go 40 days.
Yeah.
Right. 40 days is gonna take us to May 8th, which, if we do May 9th or the 16th, the first 2 Mondays, that's gonna fall during planting.
Planting.
And we
When you look
can't...
at the amount of people that are gonna be planting on that map is about one.
Well, the other side of that is, he's got possibly seed too, so he can he's gonna know when they're
Why don't
putting
we do it
that.
that May 9th, then that's the soonest
That's my
we can do
feeling.
it.
Yeah, May 8th, from today, May 8th is our 40 days.
Okay, so the May 9th, this is 41, so we could do
Right.
it on May 9th. Because it's probably gonna be mostly city.
Yeah, it is gonna be mostly city people involved.
Yeah, 'cause we have to have this hearing prior to bid letting and all that
Yeah.
stuff, so, yeah, I agree with Rick, 'cause other, if you push this back,
Yeah,
then you're,
we're gonna be talking next year.
Yeah, I wanna go,
yep.
does May 9th work for you? You aren't gonna be in the Bahamas or something, right?
Nope, I'll be around.
You're gonna say, are you guys gonna do that long hearing and stuff before I get here again?
I don't think I mean, yeah, it's one or two guys, if they wanna show up, they'll know about it, but
You know,
they pretty much already know about it, and I don't think they're gonna question
looks to me
it.
like it's all...
They're the ones that came.
Pretty much.
There will be, the people to the south will be invited as well.
Yes, absolutely.
But it's less of an impact on them. They still, I've got recommendations to charge them because they're leaving there.
They're getting the-
Work much better.
They're getting any
Benefit without any
expense,
work.
yeah, because
Right.
their system, the way it's kinda sectioned off, has a lot less going into
Yeah,
it than it
so
does
it'll be
right
really
now.
oversized what they have, which will be great for them and should last.
And hopefully then it alleviates the repair issues and breakage and,
Yep.
because they'll have a lot less water flowing through it.
So what,
I think May 9th,
what do you think? Do you wanna go for 8:45 or 9? I mean, we don't have a clue what's going on in April with the rest of our board meeting,
May,
or May.
I wouldn't go much after 9.
No.
Because we could be done by 9.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say 8:45, that sounds like a good time.
You wanna go 9 o'clock or 8:45?
Don't care.
I don't care either.
You gotta drive.
You gotta
Oh,
drive.
yes, yeah.
Around 9 o'clock.
Okay.
9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
9 on the
We're
9th.
never out
We
before
know
9.
him, we know him after he said it today, if he's out.
I'll make a motion that we set the, what are we talking?
On
Public hearing, yeah, it's
Ninth
just, public hearing on, yep, May 9th, 9 a.m.,
Public
DD 103,
103 hearing.
9 a.m.
Okay, Eric has made a motion for 9 o'clock at 9 a.m. on, the 9th for 103, and we have a second from Sandy.
Okay.
Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. 9 it is.
There's nothing on that day yet.
So I guess if we put that with an option that it's gonna be put together this way, and the other option, we could add on the boring across and putting a
Bigger pipe.
bigger pipe, and if we, by then, we should have a knowledge from the elevator that, yeah, we'd be interested. I think that would be the best
And
option.
make it very clear it's gonna cost them a lot.
Well, it's gonna be,
Is it-
but
that's
it's
the
gonna be a
reason to
huge
do it.
factor either way. If we have to do it later, we could be under 3 foot of water trying to do it.
What I'm saying is, I don't feel the city people in Bode should pay that extra cost to get that extra water away from the elevator.
I don't either.
No.
I agree.
Of course, I probably just got,
Yeah.
I'll shut up. Anything else, Colin? That you are gonna leave those
Yep, I'm gonna leave
copies
these
here,
here.
if someone from the boat area wants to take and look at that, the
Yep.
proposal?
Absolutely. And then, I don't know what you, when we send the notice out, if you wanna send any part of this pre-classification stuff, maybe the dollars map or something, so that way they can get an idea
Right.
What's it gonna cost?
what it's gonna cost.
Good idea.
That is a good map to send them.
Yeah,
Probably.
I think so.
And
Yeah.
this would be proposed, letting this,
Yeah.
and
Just an
then trying to
estimate.
do, but trying to do it as a fall job.
Correct. And
After
we know
the
that,
crops are-
on the north side of the tracks, there's seed corn there, and we can't be digging in there until that's out.
Anywhere
That'll be
near the-
August at
Yeah.
least, so.
But
But
it's a short distance.
it's pretty doable starting after seed corn harvest.
Sure.
Yeah, it is.
Pretty doable.
It's a nice little project for somebody.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Well, we appreciate your time.
Yeah.
Yep, no, thanks for checking with the co-op, the elevator.
Yep.
And you got time to do that between now
I
and
guess
then.
if you have some
Grab-
major...
Grab some donuts on your way there today and...
Whatever.
Yeah, give us a email or send Kim something, let us know
There you
if
go,
they have some
grab some
major...
stuff from the bake sale.
Okay.
That way we have...
Yeah, so
But
you
they are...
heads up and know.
I'm sure it'll just be the manager up there, he's gonna have to say, well, I'm gonna talk to the wheels from
Yeah.
new, but
Yeah.
see where we end
Get
up.
some brownies
Okay.
too.
Thank you.
Thank
Yep,
you.
thanks, Colin.
Thank you, Colin.
Thank you so much.
All right.
One more thing in drainage before we go out. We had a request out here on 6th to, reseed the CRP along the ditch where they cleaned and they took out fence. And, typically we don't do that because we just have a small burn pile, but when they took out the fence, they also leveled a pretty high ridge row from that. It's $530. All they're requesting is just the seed cost.
Yeah.
Which I think is very reasonable, to, do about 66 feet by, almost a mile, 9/10 of a mile. The only reason I'm bringing this up, because it's not something we typically do, and, like I say, it's about 7 acres, when you figure it on that,
Well, if we,
so...
I guess my feelings are if you don't do something, then we get heavy rain. That, isn't that...
Well, yeah, like you said, you don't usually do it because it's not stated that the district
Right,
normally reimburses
CRP reseeding.
reseeding.
But
But this is above the, and plus,
like I say, everything's a little gray in drainage, oh.
it's always a lot of gray stuff, yeah, because typically we'll just use about 30 feet easement isn't the farmers to begin with, it's the districts.
Yeah, they're allowed to go in there and clean,
So,
maintain the ditch.
they feed it back, but this is above and beyond, right along the ditch, is what you're saying.
Yeah, 'cause even if you took, half that 30, took 30, you still got 33 feet times 9/10 of a mile, that's 3.5 acres that you would pay damages on. So this is very reasonable, I'd say go ahead and,
So you wanna make that as a motion?
no,
or you
no,
don't need to
I just
make-
wanted this for discussion.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that makes
The
sense,
last page.
because it's above and beyond the normal.
It's not normal, so I just,
Normal.
yeah.
Right, that's fine.
Yeah, and he's just stating it's just for the cost of the seed, but not for the planting and not for the fuel and not for their time.
Fine.
Because we do have people that come in on a couple occasions where they get outside that 30 feet, we pay damages
Right.
for crop and whatever. I know they're out there doing the leveling for that 33 feet, so they just taking care of it all, so.
Awesome. All right,
No problem. Go out of drainage. Second.
we have a motion and a second to go out of drainage. Any other discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are out. Now, a motion to go out of the adjourned meeting.
Second.
And motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are out at 10:24.